And continuing our team coverage tonight, President Biden is on his way back to Washington on Air Force One that recently departed from Ellington Field. And that's where we find Fox 26's Randy Wallace, who has been there all afternoon and evening, giving us this report. Randy.
Yeah, Caroline. Now, the Air Force One took off around 9:30ish. Media not allowed on the tarmac tonight to see the departure. Now, the president's first stop in the Lone Star State today was in Austin. Mayor John Whitmire, Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George, and City Controller Chris Hollins were on the tarmac to meet President Joe Biden when he arrived in Houston. He was in Austin earlier to commemorate the anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That act, signed on July 2nd, 1964 by President Lyndon Johnson, is the most significant piece of civil rights legislation in our nation's history since Reconstruction. The president has been calling for Supreme Court reform since announcing he was no longer running for a second term.
Supreme Court's current ethics code is weak and even more frightening, voluntary.
Here's the three major changes the president wants to see for the nation's highest court. The 9 court justices would be limited to 18-year terms, a binding code of conduct, and a constitutional amendment that guarantees no president is immune from criminal prosecution.
In fact, the United States is the only major constitutional democracy that gives lifetime seats in their high court. Term limits would help ensure that the court membership changes with some regularity.
Now, on Thursday, Vice President Kamala Harris will be flying to Houston to pay her respects to Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Reporting live from Ellington Field, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.